Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I have 52 units of real estate. So a viewer posed a question asking for a breakdown one by one of all my real estate, what I bought it for, what it's worth today, what's my gross rent, what's my net take home pay, right? So let me do a breakdown of this on the top of my head. So please bear with me. I'm doing it off the top of my head. Nothing is scripted here. But let's start with my first property, 2017, bought a house in Livermore, California, bought it for $800,000. 10% down. It's now worth around 1.3 to 1.4 million dollars. So I made about half a million to 600K of equity, and it rents for $3,900 to the same tenant the whole time. And my income, my expense is $3,900. So keep in mind, I'm breaking even, but I am self-managing the property. So if I were to pay a property manager, I'd be cash flow negative. And yes, I know there are expenses. So if I have expense, that's out of my pocket, right? So I'm negative cash flow. So I locked in a 3.125% interest rate during COVID. I refinanced it. So, it's for Livermore, it's break-even cash flow. My next one is San Francisco. I bought in 2019 for $1.1 million. It's probably worth between 1.5 to 1.6 today. So I made about 400 to half $1 million of equity. It's a makeshift duplex. I rent my upper unit for $4,500, my bottom unit for $2,900, but the utilities aren't separate, so the rent utilities is included in the rent, right? So I cover the trash, the water, electric, gas, all the above, right? So this one, I locked in a 3.75% interest rate in 2019, and this one cash flows about $800 a month, right? So the next property is a one in Orange County. So this one I bought for about 750K. I put 10% down. It's probably worth around $1.2 million today. So I made about half $1 million in equity roughly. This one rents for $3,700 a month, and my expense is around $3,900 a month. So this one's actually cash flow negative, $200. And I self-manage this property, and like I said, if I have expense, I'm negative. So far, I am collectively $600 positive. I own a single family home in Huntsville, Alabama. I bought it for $250. I think it's worth around $350 ish. So that's about $100,000 of equity. Bought this in 2021, sight unseen, and locked in a 3.5% interest rate. I put 25% down, and I rent it for about $2,000 a month. And all my expenses is roughly around about $1,400, I would say. So about $600 in cash flow on this property. So that's about $1,200 positive. I own another single family home, which this one is more of like an appreciation play. So it's a property. It's rented out to friends and family, or to my family, and so I rent it for significantly under market. So basically on this property, and this is the property where I stripped out a lot of the equity in the deal to go buy my apartment. So because of this one is actually negative cash flow, about $3,000 a month, right? So it's multi-pronged. Number one, I took out a loan on it, right, to do a cash out refinance. And number two is I'm renting it way below market rent because it's just to family. So I'm not trying to make money on them. I just want to give housing. And when I did my cash out refinance, I knew that I would be more cash flow negative and I could sustain it because I work a W-2, right? So if you do 3,000, negative 3,000, plus I'm making about 1,200 from my other properties, that's negative $18,000 for my single family home portfolio, right? So remember that negative 18,000. And my apartment complex, so my 26 unit, grosses around 18K, and we factor in my loan payment of $2,000 a month. Other expenses, it's about $10,000 a month all in. So I'm netting about $8,000 to $10,000 a month on this property. So let's just be generous in this example, and let's just say I'm averaging about $10,000 a month, which I have been. So now I'm negative. Let's just make it 2,000 on my single family for simplicity, and I'm positive 10,000 for my 26 unit. So now I am positive $8,000 a month, right? On my 20 unit, I'm grossing around $9,000 a month. And on this deal, my expenses, my loan's a little bit higher in this one. So it's because I have a higher interest rate of, I think, 6.5%. So my loan payment's about $2,500. So this one, I think I cash flow. Well, my cash flow got wiped out because of the bed bugs, separate story. But on average, if you minus the bed bug situation, it's probably around 1,000 to 2,000 bucks a month. So let's just be generous because we're doing high end here. Let's just make it 2,000 bucks, right? Or no, sorry, let's go lower end because I do have bed bugs. So let's just make it 1,000 bucks a month on this property. So now I am positive 9,000 bucks a month, and my mobile home park, which I sold for a loss, right? I'm carrying a note on that, so that pays me about 2,200 bucks a month. So let's just make it 2,000 for simplicity. So now I am about positive 10,000 bucks a month. And now, so through all my investment properties, I'm about $10,000 positive a month. But now you have to factor in my primary residence where I live. So my primary residence is all in a month. So this is including I put 5% down. So I have to pay PMI, my HOA, which is about 600 bucks a month, believe it or not, property tax, insurance, mortgage and interest, all that stuff. It's about 7,500 bucks. So collectively, if you do all my investment properties, which is positive $10,000, combine that with my single family home, which I own with my fiance, which is negative $7,500, that is positive 2,500 bucks a month, right? So keep in mind when I'm factoring my costs, some money goes to principal, some money goes to equity. So that's increasing your net worth, right? So I think I did the math, and like every month my net worth increases by about 10K because I'm doing all the principal pay down, right? Between all my mortgage payments. So every month my net worth increases by about 10K in equity, as well as 2,500 bucks a month in cash flow. So it's about 12,000 bucks a month is how much my net worth is increasing, and that's not factoring like if there's a market appreciation for that. So that's the reality of owning real estate, right? Like, so real estate, the whole point of it is to hold it long term, is to stay in the game, and to have your real estate self-sustain itself. Like, this is why I still work a W-2, because I want to live off my W-2 and let my real estate self-sustain itself, right? So theoretically, my real estate is $2,500 a month positive. But remember, if I have to repair a roof, that's 30,000 bucks. I just lost 10 months of cash flow. So realistically, that 2,500 bucks a month is just being saved for a rainy day, right? So I technically cannot live off of that income, which is why I still work and why I still trying to build multiple businesses, right? So, that's the reality. But on paper, yeah, I'm worth $6 million. On paper, I've built a $5 million net worth through real estate, right? Between single family homes, multifamily. I built up enough cash flow to replace my pharmacist salary, which is a high income W-2. And I've owned more real estate than I ever thought I would, but it's on paper, right? So if I want to retire, I just would sell everything, pay off this primary residence, own this free and clear, and then just enjoy, right? So that's an option. So hopefully this kind of gave you some insight as to the breakdown of all my homes and how they cash flow. And remember that the whole portfolio collectively is positive. And I do have one property that I rent out to family that is negative, but it's intentional, right? Like, I know that I can get more for rents in that one. I know that I didn't need to pull equity out of that, but because of that equity, I was able to buy my apartment complex, which then covers the negative over there, right? And I was able to sustain that because I work at W-2, right? So it's not for everybody. Anyways, let me know if you have any comments or questions. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested in jumping into multifamily and you want guidance, and check out the mentorship program. If you have any questions and you want knowledge, please drop it down below. I'd love to answer your questions. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you.